This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. All right, let's talk about something good instead of all this pain, bro. I mean, yeah, that shit was. You watched it last night, right? I mean, what a joke, bro. Like, what a joke. I mean, it was just pathetic to watch the coaching. There is no coaching. It's bad, bro. Like, bad. Like, he looks like he's completely lost.
Yeah, I think to me, I tweeted out, I think it's just time to hit the reset button on everything there. I don't know, even when you get Tua back, that you straighten things out the way you need to get the season back on track. He's not going to come back and make a difference with that offensive line.
He'll make a difference compared to the shit that's there now, but he's not going to lift the entire roster. Plus, the coach doesn't really support whatever quarterback's there. Doesn't really get the best because the coach doesn't really support you the way you need to be supported, and it's just a really tough situation. All right, so let's talk about what we saw on Friday night. And, Cam Ward's a special dude because he made some mistakes. He made some bad throws, bad decisions. Yeah. But when you're a bad, forgive my French here, but when you're a bad mother effer here,
right.
you can make a mistake, but then you have to be accountable and then come back and answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that some bitch answers for it I don't mind those kind of players. I don't mind the man or woman that has an edge to their game, but at the same time knows that they're going to hold themselves accountable and say, okay, I screwed up. I have to make good here. And they're that kind of player that can make good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I saw in Cam Ward on Friday night. A guy that made his share of mistakes, but then said, no. Let me make up for that right now.
Yeah, and Mario Cristobal said after the game, this is a game that Miami probably loses every time for the last 20 years. Yes. So I went back and I looked it up. When you turn the ball over 3 times in a game, I mean, I went all the way back to 2013, but if you go to 2018, Miami was 1-18 in games when they turned the ball over 3 times or more. And part of that, if you just look at the quarterback those years, right? They didn't really have a quarterback who could bring them back from that many mistakes. Well, now Cam Ward is that guy, right? He's capable of overcoming mistakes and leading you to victory. So that's the difference. Miami rode his shoulders and he made play after play after play. And I think what we saw in that game, was a lot of things get exposed, right? That we didn't see through the first 4 games very often because they weren't playing very, very good teams. I think you saw the offensive line struggle to protect him, right? You've been without Jalen Rivers. Now all of a sudden, Markel Bell a couple of times is getting beat. You saw the defensive line face a running back who could, is 5th in the country in missed tackles forced, Bashul Tuten, when he's in the open field.
Now you won't be facing the country's leading pass rusher every week either, okay?
Right. But that's the point is you saw a step up in talent is what my point is. And you saw these guys struggle and basically Cam Ward had to do it all to save them and lead them to victory. So I think that refocuses the way we should probably look at this team and the potential that they have. Without Cam Ward, they're probably an 8 to 9 win team. With Cam Ward, they are a team that can win the ACC. And that's basically it. That's basically what they are, and which is what we all thought they would be. Right, coming into this season, I think we all thought, hey, Cam Ward gives this team a chance to be more than they've been, and we'll see what he can do at Cal on Saturday night. In a game on the other side of the country, and 10:30 kickoff time locally here.
Yeah, and again, having guys like Cam Ward come here. Elijah Arroyo gets, to resurrect his career and really, get to shine and get to showcase his skills, So do all the other tight ends. But it's nice to see things like that because there's a trickle-down effect. Your receivers look better. Your tight ends, look better. And it's thanks to Cam Ward, bro. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you talk about Elijah Arroyo, right, and all the knee troubles he's had the past 2 years. The biggest play of the game was him chasing down Caleb Spencer for that tackle that led to the eventual fake field goal that Miami stopped. If Cal scores a touchdown on that play, there is no comeback.
Right.
So Elijah Arroyo not just catching touchdown passes, but showing NFL scouts, look, my knee really is better. I can chase a guy down from the other side of the field and prevent a touchdown.
By the way, Ruben Bain, good news, back this week.
Supposed to be back this week, which is good because I think Miami's going to be without 3 defensive starters that they started in this last game. I think the injuries to Elijah Alston and their safety Jaden Harris, as well as Simeon Barrow, are probably going to keep them out. Remember, you have a bye week after this week before you have to go play Louisville. So do you really want to rush a guy back if you have a bye week instead of giving him 2 weeks off? Mario's been playing cautious the whole time. I do not expect any of those guys to play for Miami on Saturday.
Yeah, no, and that would make sense. And are you deep enough to overcome it?
Right. And that's a great question because Jaden Harris had been playing well up until this game. And then you lose him on the back end, and you saw some of the mistakes in the secondary. You saw some guys like Markeith Williams out there that are complementary players, not starting players. Again, we like the Mish Powell pickup for Miami, right? He's been good, but he's been very good. But to me, I thought secondary was the area coming into the season we'd be worried about, and sure enough, you saw the way that they performed this last game.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. Talk to me about Cal. What do you see in Cal?
Well, really good defense in terms of opportunistic, creating turnovers. They're a unit that doesn't necessarily put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're not high sack type team, but they're very good at tackling, very sound fundamentally. They rank, I was doing all my research for the game here, but 5th in opponent quarterback rating in the country right now. 3 touchdowns allowed, 10 interceptions. They're only allowing 7.3 yards, actually 5.5 yards per completion. So they're not giving up a lot of big plays, which that's 13th in the country. Completion percentage is way down for opposing quarterbacks, under 52%. So to me, that's going to be the challenge. Cam Ward is facing a good pass defense this week. This offensive line has not done a good enough job protecting him. I don't think Jalen Rivers is going to play in this game for Miami. So you're going to have to trot out Markel Bell again. Can Cam Ward stay turnover free and protect the football? If they do, I think Miami wins. I think if we have another 3 turnover game, then Cal could very much beat them.
Yeah, let's hope that they don't have a 3 turnover game on that one, because that was the kind of game. The good thing is, while we were all on the edge of our seats and going crazy and all of that, I did like that the referees got the call right, at least. I mean, because I don't even know how that was even called a catch in the first place.
Yeah, I spoke to a lot of people because I had to write a follow-up story for that on Saturday. And, head officials, people that have nothing to do with the ACC, but that are in charge of officiating. And the consensus that I got from them was the right call was ultimately made. I think what happened was there just wasn't enough, evidence on the film that they showed on the broadcast, right? That led a lot of people to say, well, wait a minute. He looked like he caught the ball. Why'd you call it a touchdown then? I think the officials, there's been a movement across the board to simply just get the call right, whether or not there's irrefutable evidence that necessarily comes out on the broadcast right away. And so I think they got the call right. I think that's the consensus. And those are people, again, have nothing to do with the ACC. These are people that are nationally involved in officiating, that have access to video footage that we don't get to see. Everybody assumes that what we see on television is what you see, is what the referees are seeing. Sometimes they have all kinds of angles that we don't get, that we're not privy to on the broadcast. So I think they got the call right, and ultimately he didn't have possession as he was coming down with the ball. The moment he landed on the turf and the ball was not in his possession, and he was laying on a teammate and Isaiah Horton, who was wearing number 43 on that play because he came in to battle for that jump ball. Once he touched it and he was touching out of bounds, the play was over. And so that was the right call.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad they got the right, because you don't want to also hand a loss to a team that didn't deserve it, and then that affects their entire season. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
We
the sad
talked. We
about it, and that's why you got to get the call right, so that way if you earn the win, fine, and but you just can't be gifted a win. That's unacceptable.
Correct, and I talked about this on my podcast this past week. But I really feel like if Miami is going to look, if you win the ACC, you get in no matter what, right? You win the conference championship game, you're getting in. But the way Clemson is playing right now offensively, they've really turned things around. I think Miami needs to go undefeated in the regular season to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. Because I think 2 losses puts them on the you get to the ACC championship game with 1 loss, you lose to Clemson, you're opening the door up to potentially not getting in with the way SEC teams and Big Ten teams are favored in this whole process.
By the way, let's talk next level here. This is a great opportunity for Mario Cristobal to touch base with his West Coast people, show his team off. He's had a couple of national stages now. They got to embarrass the Gators to open up the season nationally. Now they were on TV nationally for this Vatech game. They had the world to themselves on Friday night.
Yep.
And Saturday night, they're going to be one of the few games on at 10:30. While it's not as good for the East Coast, this is actually incredibly important for them on the West Coast. And
Yeah.
since you now have teams that are on the West Coast that are in your conference, all of this is in play. So it's not just a game, not just a game, but it's also recruiting that's involved in this.
Yeah.
West Coast recruiting, bro.
Absolutely, and Miami has proven that they will go to whatever coast is necessary to go get a player. Right? They will go anywhere to get them, especially the transfer portal as well, pulling guys from everywhere. So to me, yes, you're absolutely right. Obviously, California is a great state for producing quarterbacks. Miami has recruited the quarterback position there. We know about Ken Dorsey and many of the other guys that they've pulled out of California. So to me, you're absolutely right, and this is an opportunity to be on game day. To be the conversation, that ESPN puts the focus on, and important for Miami to win, important for them to follow through and get that W, and to prove in front of a national audience that this top 10 ranking isn't a fraud.
And that to me, I think, is the most important part about this. Is you want a really nice West Coast showing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the game on Friday allows your team to get even more focused on the task at hand, because you said earlier in the interview you played cupcakes at the beginning, including Florida,
Right.
and they prepare you for the ACC schedule. And Vatech actually happens to be one of the best ACC teams that you're going to face. So now that was a bit of a wake-up call. I would hope that we've got a team that's a little bit more focused this week.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they will be. And Mario's flying them out there a day early. They'll be getting in there Thursday instead of Friday. So they'll have extra time to adjust their clocks and to be ready for a night game. They're doing all the little preparations they need to do in terms of even moving practice back here by an hour each day. So they start adjusting their clocks and their mentality. So, yeah, we'll see. Listen, Cam Ward played out on the West Coast for a long time. He's won at Cal before. I don't expect him to be phased at all by that.
No. By the way, that's actually, you know what? You brought up a great point, because in these kind of moments, you want experience. Not a lot of these guys have experience, but Cam, in the most important position in the team, has the experience of being in these kind of games, being in that specific stadium, all of those kind of things. That's priceless too, man. That's
There's no
priceless.
doubt. There's no question. And I think ultimately here, you don't forget Damian Martinez played at Oregon State, right? He's played at Cal before. So these guys having those experienced guys that have played in different atmospheres is going to help your locker room.
Yeah, I'm with you there. What do you think about the spread this week?
Well, what is it, 10 going into this game? I would probably take Cal in this situation. Miami going on the road, playing another close game, especially the way Cal is great at forcing turnovers, etc. I got to look at the exact number for the total and everything else.
I'm pulling it up now as we speak. Yeah.
The total is 54.5. So if I go 24-17 Miami or 31-24, yeah, you're about hit 31-24 hits that number. 55. Yeah, I could see Miami winning by a touchdown by one of those two scores. So it's borderline. I don't know. It's a good question. The problem for Cal is offensively, they don't score a lot of points. They struggled against Florida State, gave up 7 sacks to the Seminoles in the game that they lost. What helps them survive is the turnovers. They forced 5 in their win at Auburn. Auburn, of course, is now 2-3. Peyton Thorne has struggled with turnovers.
Yeah, their offense is not that good. Auburn's offense,
right? This is going to be a step up in terms of quarterback play and offense that Miami's putting out there. But the fact that this is being played at Cal, at a 10:30 kickoff time for some of Miami's guys, I wouldn't take Miami to cover. Is what I'm saying. I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to bet Cal plus 10 because then I'm sitting there rooting for Miami not to score that much. So that's no fun. But yeah, you're right. I probably would stay away from the minus 10 and the over 54.5 because Cal's got a good defense and Cal doesn't have a great offense. That might be the play is the under 54.
The under.
The under is 54.5. To me, that's the play that I can actually make. And at least I don't, I'm not rooting for anything weird in the game. If they score too many points, it is what it is. But I can't be rooting against the Canes because I don't like rooting against the Dolphins or the Canes or the Heat or whatever. It's just no fun, bro. I don't. That's twisted that I'm betting against them. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of. But I like the under 54.5 only because of the Bears defense and that this is a road game at 10:30. That should kind of throw Miami off a little bit.
Yeah. I think it will, and I think the Canes will win the game, but I think it'll be a tight game, and I don't think it'll be extremely high scoring. I think, look, the defense is getting Ruben Bain back. Maybe he helps, provide a lift there after being out for so long and help shut down that Cal offense.
By the way, I also think this offense should only get better as time goes on because Cam will get to know all his players even better in almost every situation and all those things. So I'm expecting a more crisper offense as time goes on too at the same time, because now you'll have a different level of play on a consistent basis week in and week out. And that'll keep you at the same speed and those kind of things. So I think that the offense should actually get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, they really have not run the ball extremely well or imposed their will on that side of the ball yet. And once you get Jalen Rivers back, you're going to have a better offensive line. So to me, they will get better.
And Mario will want that. All right, follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navarro. Better yet, subscribe to The Athletic so you can keep up with everything. Manny, as always, my brother, thank you. Appreciate you.
Anytime, brother. Take care.
There you go. Caneswear. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off anything and everything inside that store. And by the way, they've got almost anything and everything with a Canes logo on it. They've got Miami Heat gear. We got the season starting now. We got Panthers gear, season starting now. Got InterMiami gear, playoffs right around the corner. Get those kits ready. They even have Marlins stuff, Dolphins stuff. It is Miami Fanwear. So go to Caneswear at Miami Fanwear. That's the shop where Miami fans shop.